And the human species thinks in metaphors and learns through stories. And then I heard another brain science thing, is that the only time that the brain is totally relaxed and everything is working together is when it's hearing a story. You know, so we are doing a disservice when we don't tell stories, because that's how the human beings and the human brain reacts to things. That's how they take things in. That's how we process things. And it's very, very important to find the stories. So what are some of the stories that we can share? I'm going to give you 4 things, and then I'm going to give you an exercise. So there are 4 different types of stories. There's a transformation story. There's more than this, but these are 4 that we're going to focus on right now. The transformation stories, redemption stories, miracles and magic bullet stories, and the mythic and epic stories. And I'll take you through a little bit of those. The transformation is how you transformed yourself or a situation from a failure to a win. Now, the story that most people always remember about me is my literal nickname as a child, from age 4 probably to about 12, was Shy. In fact, no one knew my real name, because if you were to meet my family on the street, my mother would introduce you to her 2 daughters, and she would say, "This is my daughter Donna, this is my daughter Shy." My mother would sign Christmas cards, Love, Elena, Bobby, Donna, and Shy. That was me. So I know what it's like to transform from someone who was deathly afraid of even looking someone in the eye to someone who's standing right here with all of these eyes on me. And that transformation taught me a lot, but that story teaches my customers and my clients and my audiences a lot. It teaches them that I know where they were if they were shy, and it also teaches them the power of transformation and the ability to transform. And I feel like that's really, really important. And for years I never told that story. For years I never even saw the fact that that story was related to what I was doing. And so I challenge you, I think that you all probably have stories in you that can be the catalyst, the transformation, the stickiness that your clients need to hear. The other type of story is redemption. How you, a small David, won over a big Goliath. You know, so those are really, those are the Norma Ray stories, you know, it's like all of those, like going and I did this. But I'm wondering, how many of you have a David and Goliath story? How many of you may have started off as this small nothing and you created something that was the Goliath of corporate, or the Goliath of even getting a degree? Sometimes those stories are those David and Goliath stories. The third time is that magic bullet. You know, something was wrong and broken and you did and created something that you fixed it was wrong. So if you have a magic bullet story, that's a really great story as well. Like I know exactly, like I've created this magic bullet, and I know someone is like, I haven't tested it yet, but that therapist I know, she swears that she has a magic bullet to cure everybody's anxiety. Okay, so that's a huge magic bullet story. We're going to see how that goes out. But like, what is that magic bullet that you might have? And then you're at the mythic and epic story. What huge thing did you do? Maybe it was this huge, I spoke to someone once and she had just bicycled across country by herself. You know, that's a huge story. You know, and you can get a lot of another speaker friend of mine, who she and her sister just climbed Mount Everest. You know, so those kind of epic stories are things that, okay, and then you can think, how does that have to do with, what does that have to do with image consulting? But there is a way to connect it. And we can talk about it. It's like one of the things, like figuring out the metaphor around what that epic story has to do with the epic journey that you want to take your client on. Or the epic thing, or it's like you think you're here now, but when I was climbing Mount Everest, I thought that this, you know, all of these things, there's so much ripeness for this. So, I want you to think about collecting your stories. Think about a story that might relate to what you want to talk about. So what you think about is what the name of the story is, what your point that you want to teach, what's that one point that you want to teach, what type of audience, we talked about the audience type, what is the learning outcome? After learning it, what are they going to know? What are they going to feel? What are they going to experience?